In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, may peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah the Almighty be upon all of you. I am Umar bin Abid, and you are watching Umar Linguistics. So, dear viewers, today this lecture is about phonetic transcription. So, therefore, I have named this lecture Extensive Phonetic Transcription Training. So, actually, this is the last lecture of Chapter 2, Phonology and Phonetic Transcription. So actually I'm going to solve this exercise as well as explain. So because this channel is bilingual, so I have made this video in Urdu as well. So if you want to watch this video is in Urdu, I have given the link in the description below, so you can watch this video in Urdu as well. However, this video will be in English, so throughout this video I'll speak only in English. So let's start. So before starting, I recommend you, if you take all previous lectures, I have given the link of this complete chapter. So in this way you will better able to understand this chapter. However, if you have already read that chapter, or you have already know what are the concepts and you know them clearly, then there is no problem. And if you know the phonetic symbols, phonetic vowel symbols and consonant symbols, so then there is no problem. So before I solve any question or you see my answers, so I recommend before watching that video or before watching those answers, stop the video and solve the questions by yourself. So in this way you will be in a better position, and you will have the better practice of phonetic transcription. So what is the first question or first exercise? Find the error in the transcription of the consonant sounds. So actually we are going to look at some words, and in those words there is one error in the consonant, and this error is making the pronunciation impossible for native speaker to pronounce in any variety of English. So we have to correct that transcription in the space which is provided after the word. So for example, these are the words and these are their transcription, but in each transcription there is an error in a consonant which makes the pronunciation, you can say, very difficult or impossible to pronounce for a native speaker. In other words, these words cannot be spoken in these ways by the native speakers. For example, if we look at the first word, so how we shall pronounce it? So it will be pronounced as strangus. So it is usually not pronounced in this way. So there is an error, and the error is that instead of this n and g sound, the sound which should be here, it is actually this sound, which is called angama. So instead of these two sounds, there should be only this sound, and all the errors which I am going to correct, these are available actually in Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, and actually these are the correct pronunciation. I have already verified it, but as I have said that before you watch all these answers from my side, please stop the video and solve all and correct all these examples by yourself, and after that compare it with my answers, strengths, and then crime. The error is very clear. C is actually not used as a sound, so instead of C we have to use K. In third word, the error is very simple. For example, if we pronounce it even in this way, so wishing, no native speaker of English pronounce it in this way. So actually it is wishing, so there will be no this sound, not S, but instead we use this sound sh, wishing, instead of this sound. Then wives. It is very difficult to pronounce. A native speaker use pronounce the instead of s at the end of this word. Then we have sees. It is not sees, but it is actually these. Then we have hijacking, but if we pronounce it in this way, it is like hijacking, because this is the ear sound. So this is the error. Instead of this ear, we have to use this sound, hijacking. Then chipping, there is no purpose to include two per sound. Even one per sound is enough. So it will be like chipping. It is not like chipping only. In yelling, the problem is in this sound y. Instead of y, we have to use this sound y. So it is yelling. Y is another sound which we shall discuss in the incoming chapters. This is used for some other purposes. Then we have 16. It is like 16. Actually, the problem is not in the letter but in the sound. X is not used as a sound, but instead of x is usually give the sound of k and s. So we have to put k and s. So it will be like 16. Then we have not this is, but it is pronounced as ceases. So instead of this sound, we have to use this sound, ceases. So you might be thinking why we are not putting these two dots in front of e, and the reason is that because we are just doing a very basic phonemic very basic transcription. We are not doing a detailed or narrower transcription. Therefore we are not using the two dots which shows length. So this is the first question. Moving forward towards the second question. Now try another 10 words. So there are 10 more words, but now the errors are all only in the vowels, not in the consonants. And once again, there is only one possible error, but because differences in varieties of English, there are sometimes alternative possible corrections. We already discussed in the lecture of transcription of vowels that there are in different varieties of English, vowels differ considerably. So therefore we shall notice that there could be some alternative corrections as well. Once again, I recommend that stop this video and then transcribe and correct all these words using a dictionary or anything, and then you can watch, you can continue the video. Man made. So the problem is that this sound is usually comes at the first element of a diphthong, like I. In I, this is the first element. So this sound cannot be used as an individual sound usually. So man made. So instead of this sound, we have to use this sound, man made. Then football, this o sound is not used in this way. It is also usually comes at the as the first element of a diphthong, like for example go, GOE, go. So in that it is actually the first element of diphthong. So instead of this, we shall use this sound, football. This actually football. Then we have T, chest. The only although if you look up this word in Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, you will find the same pronunciation, and you will also find that after I there will be two dots after e sound, but the rest of word is even correct. But what is the problem here? So we must know that this sound, although it uses in Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary as the same sound, but in IPA instead of this a sound we have to use this sound, T chest. All right, the rest of the word is correct. So keep in mind, whenever we look up in the dictionary, let me show you to clear this more. So this is the Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary. So for example, I am going to write tea chest.
Tea chest, tea chest, tea chest, tea chest.
Or just let me write chest. I actually just want to show
chest.
you the difference. So here you can see the sound, or sorry, the symbol is this chest. But in IPA we don't have to use, when we talk about the IPA transcription or IPA symbols. In IPA the symbol for this is not this symbol is used, but this symbol is actually used as the first element of a diphthong, like say. All right. Then we have tomcat. Now this is one of the word where two varieties may differ. And what could be the difference? If we correct this word, uh, keeping in mind the American English, it will be like, instead of this sound or there will be this sound, ta, tomcat. But if we correct it with reference to British English, it will be like, will have this sound, thaw, tomcat. In American English, tomcat. So both are possible. Then we have uh, tiptoe, but uh, it has the long e sound, tiptoe. So there is just a slight mistake. Instead of this e sound we have to use this sound, tiptoe. Once again, uh, this is the diphthong which is pronounced in American English. In British English the first element is shaw. So this could be the alternative pronunciation. Avoid, not avoid but avoid. Instead of this we have to use shaw sound, shaw. Then raman. Once again the problem is here. Now if you look up this word in the Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, uh, it will have pronunciation like remain. So instead of this shaw sound there will be e sound, e, remain. But we have, as the question, as it was mentioned in the question, that there is only one possible error. So it is possible, it is highly possible, and I could recall that Midwest or maybe some other parts of the US, they do not pronounce e vowel. Instead they pronounce shaw sound at many places. So it is possible that in some varieties of English, the speaker pronounce this word like remain. But if we look up in this word in Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary, where British English and American English is mentioned, because the Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary usually do not mention many varieties of British English or many varieties of American English. It only gives us only one pronunciation. So we can say it will be remain. So actually the problem is in this. Here is actually we have to use a diphthong. Now this element which we were talking about in IPA, this element is used as the first element of a diphthong. So instead of this sound it will remain. But if we follow the Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary or British English, so it, or American English as far as Oxford Advanced Learner Dictionary is concerned, so it will be remain. But it means why the reason why author has given this word, that in some varieties of English it is like remain, it is not remain. Then bedroom, it is not bedroom. The symbol suggests it is bedroom, but it is bedroom. So this symbol will be used. Then umbrella. But if we pronounce it like this, it will umbrella. It is not umbrella, it is umbrella. Then manage, not manage but manage. So the problem is here. I hope you have understood these two exercises clearly. Now move forward to third exercise. Make a correct transcription of the following words. There is only one error per word, but it may be among the vowels, the consonants, or the stress marks. 1, 2, and 3. In the last two questions, the second question in the last question or last exercise, the errors were only in vowels. In the second last exercise, the errors were only in the consonants. But in the exercise which we are going to solve now, the error could be in the vowels, could be in the consonant, or could be in the stress marks, but the error will be only one. So these are actually the word, and we have to solve and we have to correct these words. So now I am not going to write it here. I shall recommend that just stop and do it yourself, but I shall we shall correct these mistakes not here, but from the online website which is given or which is associated with this book, and it will be a more interactive way to correct these mistakes. So as I have mentioned several times, just write a course in phonetics in the browser, and you will get the first website, corpus.linguistics.berkeley.edu. Click on this, and here now we are solving chapter 2. So click on the chapter 2, then click on the homework exercise. Now these all these exercise, even the first exercise, you can solve in this way, that which one is correct, wise or wise, just write 1. So even in this way you can solve the first two questions as well. However, as far as the third question is concerned, we have to solve online errors in consonant, vowel, and stress. So click on the online button, and here we are going to solve. Now, which of the two phonetic transcription is the correct one? Irrigate and irrigate. So the problem is that in this second option there are two R, and there is no reason that irrigate not, it is irrigate. So just write 1 and it will be correct in this way. Then magnify. The problem is in the, yes, it is like magnify, because this E is actually long, but here it is magnify, so the second one is correct. It will tell you either your answer is correct or incorrect. Then this is demonstrate, and this is demonstrate. No, demonstrate, and this is demonstrate. So the first option is correct one. Correct. Then joyful. And this is joyful, so actually this one is the correct, because OA is the correct this song. Then simplistic. Now we can see the possible error will be in the stress marks. So initially we don't have very good concept of the stress marks unless we listen a word or unless we look up that word in the dictionary. So because I have already verified it that the second one is correct, simplistic. And the reason might be that because in simplistic the first one is sim is a very short vowel which usually come in the unaccented syllable or unstressed syllable. Then in traffic, problem is simple, it could not be the symbol here, the first one is correct. Then similarly this is like improvement, and this is like improvement, so the problem is here, it cannot be improvement, but it is surely improvement, as we know. So once again the second one is correct. Then human being, and this is like human being. So what is the problem? That this y sound is not present here, because we don't say human being, we say human being. So the second one is correct. Then appreciate, and this is actually uh, appreciate, not it is appreciate. The first one is correct. Then wondrous, it is wondrous. Usually this sound is not used in this way, so now wondrous, the first one is correct. So when you solve all the question, it will give you a certificate as well. All right, so this is another way how we can solve these three questions online as well. Moving forward to exercise D. Transcribe the following words or phrases as they are pronounced by either the British or the American speaker on the website. So there are some audio clips in the exercise D on the website. Be careful to put in stretch marks at the proper places. Use a phonemic transcription and note which speaker you are transcribing. Actually, once again we have to move to website, and on the website we have to click on the two homework exercise, and this is transcribe words or phrases exercise D. Click on the audio clips. So actually these are the words. You can listen any of the word.
Languages.
Either in British English or in American English, and as you listen you have to transcribe in that way. Once again I recommend that please listen or go to this website, listen to all these words and transcribe them, and then come back to the video and watch either your words are correct or not. So I have already solved uh, I have already transcribed all these words, and now I'm going to show you. I hope you have done the transcription of these words by yourself as well after listening from the website. Languages. So the stress is on the first syllable, languages, and the reason might be that these short vowels or lax vowels usually do not come in the stress syllables, so therefore languages. Once again notice that because just when I paste it here, so actually it changes in this way. Otherwise this is the sound, languages. And so if you want to transcribe these words in this way on your you can say on your computer, so you can download this software. Let me show you. Yes, so the software is uh, this transcription editor. You can easily download it from the, if you just write transcription editor Martin Weiser, Weisser in the website, so you will get, and here you can find all the symbol and you can transcribe here. I shall give the complete demo of this software as well in a separate video. Then we have impossibility. It is known as candidate stress impossibility, which we have not yet discussed. We have not yet discussed stress in detail. So impossibility. So actually the stress is on the last syllable, primary stress, and the secondary stress is on the uh, unstressed syllable is this impossibility. Then boisterous, youngster, another. Then diabolical. If you transcribe this word in American English, so you will write R as well. Even in this word youngster. Diabolical, so it is bo, but if you transcribe it in American English, so instead of this o there will be a. Diabolical. Then nearly over, if you transcribe it in American English, so after this shaw we also have this r sound, so it will be nearly over. Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood. You will listen this sound in this way on the website. So that stress is on the second word, Red Riding Hood. Then inexcusable, inexcusable, inexcusable. You might have noticed in this word that why we can't put the stress here and we can pronounce it like inexcusable, inexcusable, inexcusable. Actually, such type of variation, that how to divide syllables, this we usually study in phonology in greater detail, that how the syllables can be divided. So once again, for this, usually the phonologist look at the native speakers. So inexcusable, inexcusable, so the it is pronounced in this way. You might have noticed why I have not put the shaw here. So actually, it is known as syllabic consonant. What is a syllabic consonant? Usually a single consonant cannot make any syllable, we know. However, there are some instances when the vowel or the shaw sound is so small that it is included, or it is considered to be included in the consonant. So inexcusable, I have actually already made several videos on syllabic consonant. If you want to watch on my channel, these are available by the playlist name syllable. Then chocolate pudding, chocolate pudding, chocolate pudding. So uh, once again, in chocolate pudding, this is chocolate, it is in uh, British English. Yes, British English. And instead of this sound will be used in American English. So it will be like chocolate pudding, chocolate pudding. And we don't need this sound actually. We can just pronounce like chocolate pudding. Then moving forward to the next exercise. Distribution is found for these sounds, these words: free variation, complementary distribution, or contrastive. So actually we have these examples, and we have to tell that um, in these sounds, uh, either there is complementary distribution, free variation, or there is contrastive distribution. So we have to tell L sounds in play, lean, and feel. Simply it is complementary distribution. We have discussed it in previous lectures. What is the reason? Because in play, this L becomes voiceless. In lean, and in feel, lean, feel, lean, feel. In when L comes at the end, at the beginning of a word, so the tongue, uh, the position of the tongue, lean, is actually lower in mouth. But when L comes at the end of a word, so actually the tongue raises to the velar. So therefore this L is transcribed in this way, and this is known as velarized L, velarized L. So therefore the L sound in these word has complementary distribution, because L is not voiceless. L is only voiceless in this situation when a stop precedes or a stop comes before L. Now L, or in this situation, uh, the position of the tongue is always lower in the mouth when L comes at the beginning, and the position of the tongue raised only when while pronouncing L, when L comes at the end of a syllable. So because this L cannot comes here and this L cannot comes here, uh, so these L's are all the L's in these words are actually restricted to certain environments. So therefore this is complementary distribution. In the second example, the first sounds in pi, thai, psi. So we can notice the first sounds in all these words, s, th, and p, are different from each other, and actually they change the meaning as well. So therefore they are contrastive. Then the next word, the last sounds in pat, mat, and seat. So we know at the end, whenever a stop like th, p, k comes at the end of a word, so the speaker has option. Sometimes speaker pronounce it unreleased like pat, and sometimes he pronounce this th sound like seat or mat. This is the released, or this is the aspirated version. So because speaker has the option either to pronounce it unreleased or released, so therefore it is free variation, because it is not restricted to environments. Then t sound in bat, tub, steep and butter. Once again, this is actually complementary distribution. Why? Because when t comes at the end, so usually it can be aspirated or it can be unreleased, but usually it is not as aspirated. But when t comes at the beginning, it is surely aspirated. But when th sound precedes uh, a fricative like s, so actually it has not as much power as in th. So the th has more powerful puff in at the beginning, but not when it comes just after a fricative. And in this situation, butter, usually the speaker pronounce it like an alveolar tap, butter. So once again, these th sounds in all these words are restricted to some environments, so therefore this is complementary distribution. Then sound in ten and tens, once again this is an example of complementary distribution, and the reason is that in the second word, the th, this s sound just follows the nasal sound n, and when n is followed by a dental sound s, so it becomes a dental sound, although it is alveolar, but due to the influence of the incoming sound, it becomes a dental sound. So we also use this symbol tense. Once again, it is complementary distribution. In the last example, the medial sounds in awesome, autumn and owning. So the medial sound means the middle sound of in all these three words. So in this word, the middle sound is s, in this it is t, and in this it is n. O some, o thumb, o ning. So all these are actually different sounds, s, t and n. They are different from each other, and actually they also change the meaning of the word. So these are the contrastive sounds. All right. Moving forward to the next question, a very interesting question, a very good question. Piraha is a language spoken by 300 hunter-gatherers in Amazonian rainforest. So it is a language, Piraha, which is spoken in the Amazonian rainforest just by 300 hunters. This language only have 3 vowels and only 8 consonants: p, th, k, glottal stop, b, and g, s, h. However, the glottal stop does not have any lip or tongue action. Usually we know. So therefore, now we have to tell how many different gestures of tongue and lips, how many different positions of tongue and lips do the speakers of this language have to make to pronounce all these sounds. And we also have to note which are vocalic gestures and which are consonantal gestures. Gestures mean the position of the tongue and lips. So when we discussed in the second last lecture phonology and phonology, that English has actually 23 consonant symbols in that chart which we discussed there, and to pronounce these 23 symbols, 23 consonants, we just have to make 11 different positions of tongue and lips. So just for consonants. So uh, in the same way we have to describe it. We already discussed, we already studied in that lecture uh, consonant and vowels chart. Sorry, this we discussed in consonant and vowels chart, that all vowels have different positions. Why? Because in each vowel the tongue and lip has actually some different position. So these are the three lip gestures are these: e, a, o, 1, 2, 3. Now look at the consonant p, t, k, but b and p both are bilabial, so they are produced just from one position. So 1 2 3 4. Now t is alveolar sound, but we also have s, which is also alveolar. So we say t and s has the same position. So therefore this is one gesture, but from one gesture we are pronouncing two sound. These speakers are pronouncing. Then k, but we also have g, and k and g both are velar sounds. So once again they are pronounced from the same position, and h has a different position, and we don't have to include glottal stop. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So I think we have included all p, t, and k, g, and b, as well as s and h. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So just by 7 tongue gestures of tongue and lips, these speakers produce their complete language. These speakers speak by just 7 different tongue and lip gestures. Moving forward to next question. This is once again a similar question. Hawaiian now undergoing a revival, although spoken natively by only a few hundred people, has the following vowels and consonants. So Hawaiian has the following consonants: e, a, o, u, p, p, k, glottal stop m, n, w, l, h. So how many different gestures of tongue and lips do the speaker of these languages have to make? So once again, first we count vowels, because all vowels usually have different position. E, a, 1 2 3 4 5 plus consonants. So p, k, m, n, w, l, h. So p and m both are bilabial, so they have one gesture, p and m. Then we have k. K is a velar sound, and there is no other velar sound. Yes, there is no other velar sound. W, k, no, there is no other velar sound. This is another 7. So we have included p, k, and m as well. Then n is alveolar, l is also alveolar. So these two have another gesture. H has another gesture. V has another gesture. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And because glottal stop usually do not include any tongue and lip contact, so therefore we we cannot include. But even if we include, then it will be 11. So 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So we can say 11 or 10. This language, Hawaiian, has 10 different positions of tongue and lips to produce all their language. All right, and these 1 2 3 4 5, these are the vocalic gestures, and the rest of the gestures are consonantal gestures. Moving forward to next question. Transcribe the following phrases as they are pronounced by either the British English or the American English speaker on the website. Say whether the British or American English speaker is being transcribed. So actually on website we have some phrases. Let me show you. And this is actually the question number or the exercise H. So actually these are the audio clips. So we can change the talker to American speaker as well if we click on any of these phrases. So
Father calmly parked the car in the yard.
you can listen to any of the phrase, and what you have to do, you have to transcribe it. You have to transcribe it as you listen to it. All right. Before I give you the answers, So try to transcribe by yourself, and then look at the video. So I have already transcribed, and I am just going to show you the correct pronunciation and with reference to American English. We can see 3 real trees. He still lives in the big city. Once again, you might notice that in dictionaries we have this R, but in IPA we have this R, and we have to use this R. In IPA we use this R, so we have to transcribe it in this way. The waiter gave the lady stale cake. So where there is a feature of American or British English, so I have put it in white color. If it would be British English, so instead of this R there would be nothing, and this it would be like the waiter gave the lady stale cakes. But in American English, the waiter gave the lady stale cakes. They sell 10 red pens for a penny. In British English, it would be just like 4. His pal, this is his pal, packed his bag with jackets. Father calmly parked the car in the yard. Once again, if it would be British English, it would be like father calmly parked the car in the yard. Then this one, the doll at the top costs lots. If it would be British English, so actually it is the symbol of British English, it is top, but in American English it is actually this sound. Let me change the color. It would be like this sound. So the doll at the top costs lots. In a British English it would be like doll and top costs and lots. He was always calling for more laws. For more laws. If it would be British English, it will be like for more laws. And instead of this in British English, there is actually this sound: was, and was. So I have transcribed it, these all phrases in American English. There are some other as well. Don't stroll slowly on a lonely road. So once again, if it be British English, so the first element would be shaw of every consonant or every diphthong, and instead of this on, it would be like on. The good looking cook pulled sugar. If it would be British English, it would be not sugar but sugar. You can listen as well. Sue threw the soup into the pool. No difference between British or American English, but it can also be pronounced as like Sue sometimes. He loved a dull, muddy, colored rug. If it would be British English, there will be no R. It will be just like colored. Then this, the girl with colored yes, the girl with curls. Sorry, actually it would be like this: curls. R will precede L sound. The girl with curls has furs and pearls. But if it would be British English, so there would be no R in any of these places. Then I like miles of bright lights. If it would be British English, so instead of this A, we might have this O. Then he howled. This one, he howled out loud as the cow drowned. And the last one, the boy was annoyed by boiled oysters. Oysters. If it would be British English, so it will be just like was, and there would be no R. Now moving forward to the next question. So once again we have some phrases and we have to pronounce as we listen to these phrases on the website, either in American or British English. First of all, we have to give the broad transcription of that phrase, and then we have to give a narrower transcription of that phrase. And we have to mention whether we are transcribing in American English or in British English. So if we move to the website, same website, click on the homework exercises of chapter 2 and go to the this one, make broad and narrow transcription audio clips. Here we have these phrases which we have to transcribe. If we click on any one of these, so it will be played.
Please come home.
We can also change the talker to American English as well. Alright, so now I'm going to transcribe all these phrases one by one, both in broad and narrow transcription. And before looking at the video, I recommend that please transcribe by yourself and then move to the video. So please come here. Please come here. First of all, the broad transcription. Please come home. I am transcribing in British English. Home. But where are the difference I will mention? In American English it would be like ho instead of this. This is the broad transcription. Now narrow transcription. Please come home. Alright, because k is aspirated when it comes stops actually, and 40 stops per k aspirated at the beginning, and then in please we have put these two dots. So actually these are the purpose of putting these two dots when we do a narrow transcription. The next one, he is going by train. He is going by train. Sorry, this is the broad transcription. Now narrow transcription. He is going. He is going by train. Aspiration. And whenever a stop precedes the r, it becomes a voiceless, and usually like t, per t, per t, k, train. Alright, this is the narrow transcription. Then the tense American. The tense. Notice sometimes even I mistakenly use this symbol instead of this symbol, but we have to use this symbol when we want to transcribe from similar to symbols in IPA. The tense American. American. Yes, American. So here is actually shaw sound and then n, and instead of this we have to transcribe in this way. Then we have the narrow transcription. If we transcribe in this way, the tense American. The rest of the word is actually same. American. Maybe we can put this her here as well, American. But this is for sure because the next sound, the whenever n precedes n precedes a dental sound, so it also become dentalized. When we say tense, so actually it is also pronounced from the same position, and so tense just before the t's. His knowledge of the truth. His knowledge of the truth. it is also sometimes a mispronounced word. Usually people say truth by using this symbol, by pronouncing this sound, but this is actually truth. Truth. Similarly, in American English, instead of this sound, there will be this sound na, knowledge, and this instead of there will be of. Now this is the broad transcription, and this is the narrow transcription. His knowledge of the truth. So these are the three symbols 1, 2, and 3 which we have used in the narrow transcription. The rest of same. Then I prefer sugar and cream. If I transcribe it in the American English, I prefer sugar and cream. All right. So actually, in sugar, we don't have to use this sound. It is sugar, sugar, sugar. If it would be British English, if you listen, there will be no R. It will be sugar, and in British English, it will be not prefer, but it will be prefer. Now, move forward to narrow transcription. Sorry, once again I have used this symbol mistakenly. I prefer sugar. We can use this symbol as a sugar, and cream. All right. Sarah took pity on the young children. The last sentence of this uh, exercise, this question. Sarah took pity on the young children. What could be the difference? Sarah would be same. In took, we shall do this. It may be unreleased. In pity, usually the last sound is a bit longer. Pity on the young children. Only these will be these will appear only in broad transcription. The rest will remain the same. Sorry, there are some other questions as well. So what is the next question? So it is a long statement. You can just stop and you can just read it, but I am going to explain that these are the two you can say two small paragraphs. One is British English and the other is in American English. So this is actually broad transcription, and this actually has some allophones that are, so it is a little bit you can say narrow transcription. So what we have to do, we have to so first of all, just by looking at the transcription, by using the previous knowledge which we have you can say acquired from this chapter, so we shall try to read it, and then after this at the website there are some audio clips of all these transcriptions, and then we have to listen each line. So we have to listen each line, and then we have to notice that are there some differences between how it is transcribed and how it is spoken. So on the website, sorry, on the website, yes, on the website, if we go to the, yes, compare British and exercise J, so here we can listen any of these. Click on any of the
It is
line.
possible to transcribe phonetically.
So in this way we have to listen. So if we read this transcription, so just by looking at the symbols, it is possible to transcribe phonetically any utterance in any language in several different ways, all of them using the alphabet and conventions of the IPA. The same thing is possible with most other international phonetic alphabets. A transcription which is made by using letters of the simplest possible shapes and in the simplest possible number is called a simple phonemic transcription. Then in this we have some allophones as well. If the number, this is sure, if the number of different letters, it is actually alveolar tap letters, is more than the minimum as defined above, the transcription will not be phonemic but an allophonic one. Some of the phonemes, that is to say, will be uh, represented by more than one different symbol. In other words, some allophones of some phonemes will be singled out for representation in the transcription, hence the term allophonic. Alright. Then after these homework exercises, we have some performance exercises. So actually, to become a good phonetician, we need to train our ear. We need to train our transcription. So therefore, to acquire some practical phonetic skills, one way to learn is to pronounce some nonsense words. For example, what I do sometimes, that I take any word or any name, and then I try to transcribe it. For example, you might take a word like uh, George, and you might transcribe it George. Similarly, the other way is that, as the Peter Ledford have given, that learn to say simple nonsense words. A good way is to start with a single vowel. Start with a single vowel and then add consonant and vowels by one at the beginning. For example, we can notice this: a, za, iza, tiza, atiza, matiza, amatiza, thamatiza. Then read the following words and listen to them as they appear on the website: Pisus, Pisus, Pizus, Pizus, Pizuj. Then there are exercise B: Tessas, Tessas, Tassas, Tassas, Keepik, Keepik, Lamam, Laman, Malal, Maral. Then Lazas, Lazaz, Lafaz, Keepik, Keepik, Keepit, Lanam, Lanan, Lanang. This way. Similarly, we have D exercise. We have to transcribe some nonsense word by listening at the website. And after after the exercise D, we have some more nonsense word. And now this is actually in an exercise. Make your partner and ask him to transcribe these words, some nonsense words, or you can transcribe some nonsense words. So for example, I have transcribed a nonsense word. So for example, just me first of all remove all of these and then I tell you, or just I need to transcribe here. So what we have to do, transcribe some nonsense words. For example, like if I say was, but I can notice that it is very difficult to pronounce such word. Was, x, but scanville, bright blues, jeans, samang, floif, thrice, or pute pace. This type of word can be pronounced, although these words do not exist in English language, but we have to make some words which are actually could be make in English, but they are not available. So in this way, we are actually transcribing, and we are actually trying to transcribe these trans we are actually trying practicing our skills. So actually, I was telling in a bit hurry because the lecture has been too long. So in performance exercises that I have just described, you will find all these exercises. So if you do phonetic transcription with interest, you have interest in this, so you can do it for a very long period. So here exercise one, what it was described that start from the first sound. So if you just listen, and this is exercise B.
Zeus,
This 1 2 3
Jinxmang,
so it is all about this exercise. So just you read that question, and then listen from the website, and you can do that exercise very well, because this exercise was not about some solving but some practice for future. So actually the motive to study any subject is not to get marks, or is not to pass the paper, but to acquire some skills of that subject. So as I have already described, that phonetic is a very interesting subject and a very productive subject in future, even in nowadays, and it is a pure science when we dig deep this subject. We are actually practicing our skills of phonemic symbols. So this is a very important instruction. There is no best way of doing ear training work of this kind. So by this kind of exercise, by transcribing nonsense word, and by comparing with a partner, it is helpful to look carefully at a person. Yes, another thing, the more you listen, and the more you listen carefully, then try to say the words, that same word, immediately after that person. You might listen to BBC, you might listen to other people as well, and transcribe even in your own language if it is not English, because phonetics is not just about English or any other language. So but if you miss something first, then no problem, write down whatever you can, leave blanks, and when after listening, just look at the sample, that what sounds are missing which you have missed, and what might be the possible sounds. So the more you listen, the more you listen keenly, carefully, and the more you transcribe, so your ear will get better at this, because once we do practice of something, so it comes to us very easily. So our brain starts working like that. So in this way, you can uh, you can be a better phonetician, and if you are a good phonetician, you can find many great jobs, and it is very, you can say, interesting to do. There are a lot of professions you can find, and you can have a very good career if you are a good phonetician, or if you are good phonologist. So this is all about today's lecture, and this is the reference. We are following a course in phonetics by Peter Ledford and Keith Johnson. So I hope you have understood it, although the lecture has been very long, and I apologize for this, but if you have understood it, then I think the time will not be wasted. Don't forget to give your feedback. Remember, in your prayers. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you.